I'm Instacarting cookies, like throwing them in a Ziploc bag, and I show up thinking like I did my part. Why is this, it's still like burning inside of me that I feel like I am missing something.
You're perpetually going to be playing this game, but sometimes you show up and they're like, oh, it's not basketball.
Right.
Today's football. And you're like, oh, okay. I never played football before, but got it. I'm going to learn right now.
My daughter goes, well, what about spending time with your children? As painful as it was, it really opened up so many doors for me. Like I always say, my pain fueled my purpose.
From the Vox Media Podcast Network, I'm Robin Arzon, and this is Motherhood, the Remix from Project Swagger. This series is about defining our own versions of motherhood. For the second part, I am bringing in a mama I adore and admire. My friend, fellow Peloton instructor, Kirsten Ferguson. She's a single mom of 2. I've known Kirsten for a number of years. We actually met in a suite at the Jets game. And she had taken my classes at Peloton. This is right around the time of the pandemic, actually. The world was kind of starting to open up. But for Kirsten, and you'll hear her tell more about her story specifically, but, you know, she was going through a lot of personal changes, romantic changes, going through a divorce, going through a career change. And that is when she started at Peloton. And the opportunity that was at Peloton was on the tread. And she previously had been teaching on the bike. So I so admire and respect Kirsten's ability to be like, I'm going to take this baton and I'm literally going to learn how to run with it. I know Kirsten to be somebody who's so ferociously herself. And I think that the ability to be vulnerable as well as strong is really, really present in Kirsten's content and her classes and the way she presents in the world and the way she presents in this conversation. I am so excited for y'all to get to know a little bit more about Kirsten's perspective on motherhood. So even if you know her well from Peloton, this is a different page out of Kirsten's book that I'm excited to share with the Project Swagger community. So welcome to Project Swagger.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for being here, my girl, Kirsten Ferguson. So we are at Project Swagger talking about remixing motherhood. And you're a mother that I admire.
Aww.
And, you know, even though I started at Peloton before you did, you have older kids than me. And so I've always looked at you like, okay, how is she doing it? How's she handling 9? How's she handling 11? And so I want to talk to you today about how you are remixing motherhood. So what's something that you kind of overtly said that's not for me in terms of the motherhood game? Maybe something that you inherited or something that you heard in communities that you're a part of.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was early on where I learned, like, we're all just trying to figure this out. And, you know, I was looking around at a bunch of moms and they looked like they all, like, had it perfectly, like the Martha Stewart.
Yes.
Right? And it just wasn't me or my story, or I just could not figure out how to do that. You know, like my first experience at the girls' school, you know, was bring a snack to school. And these moms are like in the kitchen.
It's like a bento box, Pinterest.
It's like packaging with tulle and the bow. And meanwhile, I'm Instacarting cookies, like throwing them in a Ziploc bag. And I show up thinking like I did my part. And I'm like, wow, I am
levels
not doing this right. But then I let that go. And I was like, listen, my kids feel my love. Yeah. They know how I show love. They're clothed, they're fed, they are happy. I'm doing a good job at this thing, you know?
When did you let go of the Martha Stewart of motherhood thing? Like, was that like before you were pregnant, or that was, you know, at what stage were you like, okay, actually, maybe reality isn't meeting that expectation?
You know, it's interesting. I think it was when I really started at Peloton, to be honest, because I could not do it all. Like, I realized, like, wait, I used to be so on, like, the girls cannot leave the house without the bow and the shoes and everything matching. And then once you add another one to the mix, and that's stressful. And then, I want to add my career onto this. How do I do all of this? I can't. I just can't. And so I think once I started prioritizing my career, I knew, like, okay, they're going to be okay. I can let some stuff go. This is really stressing me. And for what? And so once I let that go and really just started embracing who I was as a mom, that became more relatable to more people. And it gave them the permission to exhale and be like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to have it all figured it out because we're all figuring it out.
Totally. And I think that I know there's going to be somebody out there like, but I love making the bento boxes and I love doing the post. Then keep doing it, baby.
Do it.
Nobody's telling you not to do what you love.
I love
but
that
it's just when it's coming from the external of the expectation that makes it added perfectionism that we don't need.
Correct. When I realized it wasn't helping my mental space, I was like, okay, I gotta let this go.
And what energy are you bringing into parenting?
Correct.
When it's coming from that, right? Your girls can feel that.
And they're stressing out about, oh my gosh, I can't leave the house without my hair being perfect and this and that. It's like, no, listen, you're good. You know?
So one of the first things that you introduced at Peloton was the Ratchet Moms Club.
Yes.
So, tell me your philosophy there.
Well, it goes in line with what we're talking about, was that idea of letting go of perfection. And like I said, I showed up at my daughter's school and there was a bunch of moms and I just felt like I was not fitting in with the crew.
Yeah.
And as much as I tried to, it wasn't working. And I was like, wait, this is not me. And I'm growing into this new version of myself. Why am I trying to fit into that mold?
Right.
Forget that. If I want to roll up to school playing ratchet music for pickup line, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And I'm going to move as me unapologetically. And I want to raise my children to be like that too. And so I just started moving like that. I created a Peloton and it stuck. Like people were like, yes, we don't have it figured out, you know? And it's like, it's giving people the permission to just exhale and know that perfection is not always the goal in everything.
100. We don't need to, we're like optimizing ourselves out of a life sometimes.
Correct.
Okay, so I really want to talk about something that you have shared so vulnerably publicly about your miscarriages and your fertility journey. Mm-hmm. What do you wish you would have heard?
Gosh, I wish I would have known that more women go through it. I went through it and I felt like I was the only one. I felt so alone and my husband at the time could not relate. All of my friends, had kids and it was all happening for them. And I just felt so alone. And so that's why I am so honest and open about sharing my story, is so that no one has to feel how I felt going through that process of, realizing that, this is something that is pretty common. And, as painful as it was, it really opened up so many doors for me. Like I always say, my pain fueled my purpose.
Yeah.
That is what I went through really brought me to Peloton today. It's just wild. And I fell in love with fitness because I was going through what I was going through.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So that's, it sounds like a central aspect of how movement impacted your perspective on motherhood.
Correct, 100%. Because for me, it was going to a place that I could control.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things I had to realize when I was going through my fertility journey is, as much as I want to control this, I cannot. And I had to release it and let it go. But for fitness, I can control how I show up, when I show up, how hard I show up. And so that was my happy place. And I never had that before. And so I knew even after becoming a mom, that was a non-negotiable for me. Like that is something that I need to always go back to because I can control that. I know how this works. Motherhood, having children, all of that can be a very interesting journey. But fitness was always my place where it was like, okay, this is my time for me.
And you're clearly modeling it through your actions for your girls. But have you ever, now that they're a little older, had discussions around those kind of like self-care identity concepts? Or is that just kind of in your household?
It's in my household, but they respect it and they understand it. And they know I need to have my 1 hour to myself, and then we will do the Target run. We'll go get the cake pops. Like we can go to the trampoline park, but mommy has to take care of herself, and mommy will be a lot nicer as long as I get what I need to do done.
Yeah.
And I think even, them watching me training for the marathon after coming back from hip surgery.
Yes.
Like they watched me go through something really challenging and hard and really work at something every day and show up and not have excuses as to why I can't do it. And they watched me across the finish line. So, you know, it's them seeing it in action too, which is important.
Yeah. You said that after having kids, you weren't fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was such a refreshing thing to say.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I had to wrestle with that for a while, Robin, because I prayed so hard for my girls. I prayed like every night, prayed. And when I lost my babies, it was so hard. So that when I had them, I thought that was going to be the thing. Like, I am finally getting the thing that I prayed for, and it's going to fulfill me and make me so happy. And this is everything I want and more. And it was, but it was also something missing. And I was like, why is this? It's still like burning inside of me that I feel like I am missing something. And I felt guilty because it was something I wanted for so long. And it's like, how selfish are you, Kirsten? Like, you finally got the thing that you've been asking for. And now you're like, what's next? You know, but so I wrestled with that for a long time. And now I'm just kind of like, you can have both and be completely fulfilled.
Right.
Which is, it took me a while to figure that out.
So what did you think the missing piece was? Like, was it the professional pursuits that you were still craving? Or what was it?
I didn't know. I just felt like something was missing. Like, I wasn't finding joy. And, you know, it could have been relationally. It could have been, you know, postpartum now. Like, that's another thing a lot of people did not talk about. And so I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to find it. But every time I would go work out, I would get that spark. And it wasn't until after I had my second daughter where someone was like, you know, you should do this, right? And I was like, me? The stay-at-home mom with 2 kids? And honestly, like, I was in my mid-30s at that point. I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. Until I went home and I was like, you know what? Okay, let's try it. And the moment I put the mic on my face, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, this is what you're called to do.
Yes! I have chills.
It was wild. I will never forget that day. And I never looked back.
Well, I think what you're saying is so powerful, and it's on a few levels, right? You're remixing motherhood, which is where expectation doesn't meet reality. And I think that especially when you're a parent to young kids, 2 things can be true, right? It's like you can be holding this baby and wiping booties, and also a snack maker and booty wiper. Yes. And then you can also be like, I really don't want to be doing this right now.
Correct.
Like, I would, you know what I mean? Yes. And there is a tension there that it is presumed that mothers should 24/7 be portraying the joy.
Yeah.
And, you know, almost like as an art or as a performative piece rather than listening to what the conversation in between their ears.
Correct.
And then the second thing that I think is so powerful is that you rewrote the script professionally. Like, you said, I am going to claim a new path that your neighbors weren't doing it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
no,
and I
no
think
one around me was doing it.
Right.
And nor did I have to. It was a hobby initially at first. And, but it lit me on fire. Like, it was just something that I was doing 2 days a week, and it brought me so much joy, like playlisting and creating moments. But then I started sharing my story and being vulnerable and seeing lives change. And it was like, this is it. I love being a mom. I love y'all, but I also love this. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, it's so wild. Once you find that thing that's your passion and your purpose and you lean into it, just things start to flow, doors start to open. And that's kind of how you know you're really on track. And to the outside world, you know, they don't understand it. And I often say this in class. I'm like, but it wasn't their calling, it was mine. So it wasn't for them to understand. It just made so much sense to me.
Yeah, I think success leaves clues, and often they start as little whispers. And sometimes those whispers are the hobby or the thing that you carve out to do for an hour on the weekend. But if you start to turn up the volume on that, it could land into what Kirsten is doing now.
So wild.
What's your relationship to mom guilt?
You know, it's interesting. I think we all get it. There's times where it hits harder than others, especially get ready as they get older, and they have their words and they communicate big emotions and feelings. one time I was getting on a flight for work and my daughter goes, well, what about spending time with your children?
The dagger.
I was like, oh. I was like, well, do you like all the beautiful things? Like, do you love the roof over your head? Do you love all the Sephora things Mommy just got you? Mommy has gone slight.
I have to pay for
these things. And so it's them understanding like what a job is and why do I have to do it? And I'm not doing it just because I want to be away from you. I'm doing it to provide for you. But also to like be an example of like what is possible. I think one of the best things, and I know you do it too, is bringing those babies to work and letting them see what we're doing. I mean, my kids think we're Beyonce, so there's that. But, just letting them experience it and see it and like, wow, oh, this is what you're doing when you're not with me? Yeah, I'm not on the beach. Sometimes on the beach.
Yeah.
Because we also need a break.
But it's the sweat equity for sure.
Yeah. It's like seeing what I'm doing, and I say the way to invest in being the example of showing them how it's possible.
100. So pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, a divorce happened.
Yes.
How did you know? How does one know, you think, when you're ready for a hard reset? Not necessarily romantically, but like, what are some clues that you were like, oh, there's misalignment happening here?
Yeah. I think it was just a series of unhappiness. It was a series of unhappiness, and we both recognized it on both sides. And I also had to deal with, what do I want to show my children?
Oh, right.
Do I want them to see a marriage where there's two unhappy people, but just living under one roof? Or do I want them to see me happy and thriving? And do they want to see their father happy and thriving?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think it's the best decision we both made. Like, he's so happy and thriving, and so am I. And they're both two completely different stories. And it was a challenging time. Like, it all happened during the pandemic. So terrifying, learning how to be a single mom. Also, while the world is shut down.
Right.
And we don't know what's next. Also, homeschooling kids.
I can't.
It was awful. I'm like, you want my 3-year-old, 4-year-old to sit in front of a camera? I can't get them to sit for 2 seconds. What is happening? Also, at the same time, interviewing at Peloton.
Right.
So all of this is happening all at the same time. But I think one happened at the exact perfect time because I didn't have time to like sit in it. I was so focused on, okay, how am I providing for these babies? And what does this look like?
It was the next choice.
Like, go.
Right.
And it was like, learn how to run, learn how to talk and run, learn how to step into this career that I never thought was possible and go do it.
And I think the practical application of what you're saying is you focused on what you could control and you took action. Because any one of those things could be fail paralyzing.
Right.
And you had them all at the same time. So it's a pretty triumphant story arc, but also one that goes down to the details that are, and the details are actually quite simple. It's like, make one next choice.
Yeah. I think that moms do that, right? It's like, okay, we always figure it out. We, inside our heads, we're like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? But externally, it's like, okay, go time. Next step.
Got it.
Everything's figured out.
What do you think when your kids were younger? What did you think was going to matter so much that doesn't really matter anymore now that they're early preteens?
Oh my gosh, what did I think would matter? I think it's the idea of everything looking perfect. And, I have 2 kids, and I don't know about you, but they're 2 completely different human beings.
Yes.
And so what worked for Eden does not work with Emery. And so it's just kind of letting go of the rule book and saying, okay, we're going to figure this out, and how to navigate the way you learn and the way you communicate versus the way she learns and communicates. And it's a constant evolving process. And what I also thought was interesting is I was like, okay, this phase is really hard, but at least I'll get to the next phase. And then every phase just keeps getting like a little bit hard.
It's just a different type of hard.
It's a different type of hard. Like, yes. I look at some of our teammates right now and they're in the infant phase and I'm like, it's okay. You're going to get through that phase and then you're going to get to this phase and this is going to be a different type of hard, but you're not going to be as tired.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, but you'll be prepared to deal with puberty.
I'd say that the parenting game is like, you're perpetually going to be playing this game, but sometimes you show up and they're like, oh, it's not basketball. Right. Today's football. And you're like, oh, okay. I never played football before, but got it. I'm going to learn right now.
We'll learn right now.
But the landscape changes and it is different intensities, different levels of hard, but you just kind of are always leaning into that difficulty.
Leaning into that difficulty. Because even if that one day you're like, okay, we're going to play football, you're showing up the next day to play football and you're like, you're not playing quarterback, you're playing defensive end.
Right.
You're like, wait, what?
And then it depends on the kid, what role.
It depends on the kid, what role you're going to play.
And I think that, in general, what we're, the shades of what we're painting right now are that when expectation doesn't meet reality, whether it's like your Martha Stewart thing or whether you have a vision of child number 2, child number 3, or having a child at all, like, and we have these timelines. And even if we say we're go with the flow, like, ain't nothing go with the flow about me. I want to know if the flow has snacks. I want to know the GPS route. Correct. I want to know what footwear I need. Correct. And like, I think once I realized that I wasn't go with the flow at all, I was actually be able to become a little bit more adaptable. Yes. Because I was like, listen, this is who you are and this is where you got to go. Yes. So let's just focus on what you can control. What can you control in this moment? Like at this very second. It's also like, you know what? Let's just let them be it because I can't control this right now. I'll never forget, Robin. There was this one time on the plane. I was pre-divorce, but almost there. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And we're on the plane and I'm in the plane with 2 kids by myself. And Emery just decided to just go ham on the person in front. And I had all the snacks. I had the Play-Doh. Yeah, I had everything. I had the coloring book. I had everything. I had everything possible. The person in front of me was just a nightmare. I'm like, control your kids. I was like, would you like to try? Gladly will change sheets. There's no controlling this one. And it's like, as much as you plan for something, you could sit down and just be it's out of control. And you're just like, okay, I just got to let it go here. There's nothing I can do in this moment. There is a surrender to motherhood that was so deeply humbling to me, which an outsider looking in, of course, you can, an outsider is like, of course you need to surrender to motherhood. Like, of course you're going to give mothers grace. But when you're in it and you want to do the best job and it's such a high bar and you care so much, we're really, really rough on ourselves. So hard on ourselves. Especially, I always feel for that mom that I see on the airplane because I'm like, oh, I feel it. I feel it. I'm like, and they feel way worse than anybody who is being disturbed by their kids. Trust me, they feel worse than you do. Way worse. They're just begging for that child to just stop screaming. Please stop screaming. 100. Please don't kick that seat anymore. All right. In your seat. Let's get into rapid fire. Here we go. Ooh, rapid fire. Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. A moment of motherhood nobody warned you about. Oof. A moment of motherhood no one warned me about. How much I would miss the newborn phase. Oh, I know. They always say it goes fast, but I'm like, yeah, but I wish I would have just... I wish I could have go back to that little bubble. Because I think sometimes we're just praying for that phase to be over. Yeah. And I just want one more hour of sleep. I just want to sleep. Yep. I'm like, gosh, I would do anything to... That little cocoon. Just be in that little cocoon again with those babies. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Time you chose yourself and felt zero guilt. Time I chose myself. Honestly, now when I go out on long runs, I'm about to enter that phase. Mm-hmm. And it's the first, I haven't done a marathon in 5 years. Let's go. And it's part of that. And I think I have a pretty reasonable relationship with mom guilt. Like I'm able to unpack that and tell a different story most of the time. Mm-hmm. But there's something about the long runs that I'm like, oh wait, so I'm just going to leave Saturday morning for hours or, you know what I mean? So thank you for saying that because that is liberating for me. It's like, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You'll be fine. And it's so freeing to me because you're not needed anywhere. Yep.
you're focusing on you, what feels good, and you could just be with yourself and your thoughts. And it is, I think, one of the best ways for therapy for me at this point.
I love it. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
The thing you swore you'd never do as a mom, that now you do all the time.
I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but at first I was like, organic everything. They can't have any crap. I mean, they still don't eat fast food, but the snacks are snacking in the Ferguson household.
Okay.
The snacks are snacking.
So I had this, as part of this book that I still love and I love, it's called Bringing Up Bébé. And they have a French idea of you eat breakfast, you eat lunch, you eat dinner. But they're not a snacky culture over there in France. And I remember Drew and I were in a car ride and I was like, it is not going to be a snack situation in our house. Meanwhile, I didn't even readily admit that I am a snack queen. I have 14 snacks at all times. So what a hypocrite. And then here I am now, my son is from morning till night, it's just a string of snacks.
Yeah,
it's just a string of snacks.
Literally, a bag, nothing but snacks. Nothing but snacks. Because you're just take this for
please,
seconds.
Please.
And I'll be right
I need 2 minutes of peace.
And then also the other thing, I think, it's my kids will never see the screen. My kids see the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm that mom. I'm you know what? I need 10 minutes. Here, take it.
For us, especially during travel.
Oh,
especially.
Yes.
Your most chaotic parenting moment this week?
Ooh, this week. Wow. I'm name one?
Which one?
Which one? Literally, okay, so I taught Sunday morning, rush home, make sure Emery's in the right soccer gear. Sun is shining. It's beautiful out. We get to the soccer field. All of a sudden, full on downpour. And I'm I have nothing. Literally, I'm just sitting there and it is downpouring on me. And I'm wow, I'm really sucking at this thing. And my daughter's Mom, where are the umbrellas? I'm I don't know. I forgot. Everyone's mad at me. That was one where I'm just I've been nonstop just running that all of a sudden we're sitting here soaking wet. And, it's every day is just different or, just trying to remember all the things.
What do you tell yourself on the hard day?
Gosh, the hard day, you're doing your best and that's okay.
You're doing your best and that's okay. So closing statement, we all know, listen, I think super moms, single moms, single caregivers are absolute heroes. But we know it's hard. You know it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I can presume that it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a silver lining? What's a glimmer from this experience that you're wow, I never thought I would be loving this part of it?
What's so interesting? I was raised by a single mom. And, I just remember her always being in her power red suit, walking in a room, owning and taking up space. I can visualize that. And my hope is that when they look at me, they see the same.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
They will.
I hope that they realize that they can walk into rooms with people that don't look like them and take up space.
Yeah.
I want them to realize that they have a voice and could speak up for the voiceless. I want them to just have such confidence in themselves that they're meant here to be here and to own who they are unapologetically.
I mean, that's a mic drop. Thank you, Kirsten, my girl. I love having you here.
This is so great. So full circle moment.
Oh, and Beyonce was with us.
Of course she is.
We are certified members of the Beehive. So.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I love that.
So one day we'll have this conversation with Beyonce sitting right here.
Right here. Make sure I get an invite. I just want to be in the corner. I don't want to be on the couch, but I just want to be in the room.
What's up, Swagger Buddies? One of the things that I am saying no to in motherhood is this idea that motherhood changes your life so much that you never want to do anything else. That expectation that, isn't motherhood just magical? No, it's freaking hard. And no, I don't want to be a mother to everyone in my life. I just want to be a mother to my son. That's it.
Something I'm saying no to in motherhood is putting myself last on my list. The first hours of the morning, and I wake up very, very early, are for me.
So ironically, I am recording this video from my baby boy's room because he decided to start singing while I was in a call at work. One thing that I am saying no to in motherhood is the belief that that's it. Mom can't dream or mom can't think of doing new things, trying new things. I feel like every mom should just think about before their motherhood, like who they were, and just know that becoming a mom is just that like extra oomph that you need to keep moving forward. Besitos.